What's up, guys? Welcome to TFGoose Gaming. I'm TFGoose here with Vendetta. Say hey, Vendetta.
Hello.
Hello. And we are bringing you this wonderful piece of excellence today.
Yes.
This is a quality game that actually you found and told me that you had stayed up till 7 a.m. accidentally playing it on launch day.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did, and I'm glad I did. So what we wanted to cover here, guys, is just kind of what we learned on our first playthrough through the game and give a broad overview of some of the basic stuff that we found. So hopefully you'll enjoy this and get some use out of it. So first off, I guess really the best thing to talk about is just the first few days, what you should do to kind of get going. And number one, I actually saw a streamer do this. When you get up, grab the little box of parsnips in your room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, don't walk past it and go outside and wonder what to do with your life, because things will be difficult. But, basically just plant those, water things up each morning. And then I guess the biggest key is to just make sure you're kind of using the majority of your energy each day. This bar down here on the bottom right-hand corner, that's the limit of your potential for the day, unless you eat something to replenish it. So use that up, clear some space, clear some of those rocks and trees and all the kinds of stuff around there. Water your crops, and go out and meet some of the townspeople as well, because there's like 28 of them.
Yes. Yeah, there is. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of people to get to know. So get out there and meet them and talk to them. They have lots of quests and also just some cool things to say. So get out there and meet them. And speaking of that, actually, I mean, there's like this whole friendship relationship system in the game that is like a large part of it, right?
Yeah, there is. So each person in the game, they have various goods that they like and dislike to a certain degree. And what I mean by that, like, for example, Leah loves wine. And if you give her wine, she will love you.
Yes,
Long time,
right. That or salad. So Leah is a woman, I think, is what they're trying to say.
We're going to go with that.
Salads and wine. No, but no, more importantly, everybody has several things that they love, several things they like, some things they're sort of neutral on, and on down the line to absolutely hate. But basically, you can give each person one thing a day or two things a week, and as you build up those hearts, then they'll give you gifts and quests and send you cooking recipes and all kinds of stuff. You can get into their rooms and find certain quest items for other people, and you can even get to the point actually where you can marry them and eventually even move on to having a kidling. So if you want to go that route, then you got to get someone's hearts all the way up to 8, and then you buy this bouquet from Pierre, the shop guy, and move them. Keep going from there, and eventually you have to snag this thing called a mermaid's pendant. And if you want to know where to get that, I'll leave that to the spoilery wikis and stuff. So, but it's not too bad to get, guys. It's a good time, and there's some benefits to marriage. So if you want to work on pushing people up through that relationship system, develop some artisan goods and cooked items. They're pretty much liked by everybody. Each item kind of has a couple of people in town that won't like it, but for the most part, they'll pop everybody's meter that you come across pretty well. So that's always a good sort of fallback position. I used mayo.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, you know what my favorite thing to make? Duck mayo.
Duck mayo, right. Mainly because it sounds awesome. So
yeah. So I love mayonnaise and cheese. That's all my farm makes, and some honey during those summery months.
The bee seasons, yeah. So, and you can also use some of this stuff for cooking, right? I mean, you got to get the Carpenter Upgrade, I think, from Robin here.
Yeah, which is, I believe, like 450 wood and 10,000 gold, which that may sound like a lot, guys. In the beginning, it is. But trust me, if you get going through a couple seasons, you'll be able to make money in no time flat.
Yeah, it's not really bad, and the benefits that you can get from doing it is actually really good. I mean, some of the cooked items, require these extra ingredients that you get at Pierre's. And often, if you have to go get those things, then you're making an item that's going to give you maybe some buffs or give you some good health and energy back. But if you're just making them to sell, you're going to spend more, putting that together than you would have made if you just sold the stuff. So the general rule of thumb here, if you want to make money with cooking, only cook things, and put stuff together that doesn't require any extra ingredients, and then sell those. Like, for instance, eggs, you can sell an egg for 50, or you can just turn it into a fried egg and all of a sudden it sells for 100, or you can turn that egg into a mayo, for example, and it also sells for 100. But and that doesn't require anything extra. But as soon as you start going to have to buy that extra stuff, it starts getting cost prohibitive. So, just think of it that way, and don't forget to give away some of these things that you make for cooking as gifts, because people tend to like that stuff. But to get anything at all, though, I mean, you also need to farm, right?
Yeah, that's kind of important. As you get into farming, you'll learn, at least through the first year, I kind of grew a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, which is important also if you want to kind of segue into bundles, because that's something that is easy to miss if you're not looking for it.
Yeah, the bundles. There's this community center that you'll come across when you just like a few days into the game. You'll come across this thing. You'll learn about it, and basically it's giving you these collection quests. Essentially, is what they are. But in order to complete a lot of these bundles, you're going to have to grow crops, in a variety of crops in each season. Each season's 28 days long. And most of the crops die in between the seasons. Besides corn, it's awesome. It lasts through 2 seasons, which is cool.
Yep, summer and fall.
Yep. But otherwise, you're going to plant all these specific crops per season and try to make some profit off of them, but also to complete the bundles. And for a good products in spring, you want your potatoes. That's important.
Potatoes.
Right. In summer, blueberries are pretty awesome. In fall, cranberries are pretty awesome. And in the winter, you don't really do a whole lot unless you get a greenhouse, which is actually one of the rewards from the community center bundles. So just take a look at those as each season begins, and make sure you're building towards completing those, because they have some pretty awesome rewards and unlock some of the later stages of the game as well. So keep that in mind. And the quality crops thing, where you have to build like the gold star rated crops,
yeah.
I was terrible at that.
Well, you got to use fertilizer, man. Yeah, fertilizer is the key.
Yeah, fertilizer, and unfortunately, you don't get really good fertilizer until much later, in your career, as you level in your farming skills and such, and move through the game. But you can get some basic stuff, and that helps. But otherwise, growing those silver and gold star quality crops is kind of rough. So you may not be able to complete that until year 2. But that's okay. The game kind of runs on a continuous cycle, right?
Yeah, it does. Something interesting you said, though, a couple other alternates to blueberries, cranberries, and the like. For me, I still keep potatoes at spring. However, in summer, I like to grow melon. I think it's more profitable than blueberries. And in fall, pumpkins are awesome to grow.
Those actually do sell really, really well. The only reason I was focusing more on blueberries and cranberries is because you tend to get multiple of them per plant.
Oh, that's true. And they continue to grow.
Yeah, and they'll regrow. Yeah, right. You don't have to replant them once you put them down, so they can be insanely profitable. But still, I mean, you definitely want to make the melons and the pumpkins, because again, you need them for the bundles.
Yep, absolutely.
And for some of the other quests. So, and also, to do all this stuff, guys, you're going to want to be upgrading your tools and getting some of your craft on, to make some of the machines and things that help you process all these goods. And in order to do that, you're going to need to find some ore. You're going to need copper and iron and gold and something way later called iridium. And in order to do that, you're going to need to go into the mine, which is sort of where the adventure-y, monster slayer type stuff occurs in this game. And frankly, where I danced with death quite too often.
Yes, me too.
So, I mean, it can be bad, and you really don't want to die. You lose a pretty significant portion of your gold and items, even perhaps, if you die in the mine. So be very mindful of that. Take some good food with you, and keep your health and your energy topped off when you're in there. And make sure you leave 2 and get home before 2, otherwise you'll just collapse from exhaustion, and that's embarrassing.
And it costs you more money too.
It does, yeah. You'll actually get emptied about like 10% of whatever you're carrying. It's pretty rough. So, but in here, you're gonna mine some stone, geodes, some ore. You get these geodes in here too, where you can get them popped open by the blacksmith, and there'll be all kinds of good stuff in there. Some things maybe you can donate to the museum, which is how you can get some other cool rewards there. The museum's right beneath the blacksmith. You can't miss it. And you can also just get some ore and some other fun stuff in there. But really, you're kind of after the ore. That's mainly the reason why you're down here. So you're going to get copper from level 0 to 40, I think. Is that right?
39, but
39,
yes.
Right, yeah. And then 40 to 79 is iron. And then you start seeing some gold after level 80, and you keep on going from there. So if you're looking to get those ores, you have to keep progressing in the mine. But keep some of the other drops and stuff that you get in there. The monster drops, they tend to have other uses.
They do, especially as you level up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it can be really important. And I did notice too the essences, those solar and void essences that you get. Yeah, they're pretty useless to everyone else in town. That in fact most people hate them.
Yeah.
But they sell okay. Or if you want to give them to the there's a wizard NPC and he absolutely loves them. It's one of his favorite gifts. It's like Leah and the wine. And so he absolutely loves those. So if you're trying to earn some rapport with him, go ahead and take those to him, and that's a good thing. But otherwise, down here is where you're going to get your gravy and move through the game and actually get your tools upgraded. So I guess, but back to more on the fishing and ranching and farming stuff, the country lifestyle things. There's also getting into the animals and stuff here too, right? These are the things you don't want to hit with your sword.
No. They get mad at that. One thing a lot of people missed, and myself, and I think yourself included, was the silo.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, you got to build a silo in order to turn the grass into hay and start storing it. You need to talk to Robin, and if you look very carefully, there's an over arrow, and so you cycle that a few times to get to the silo. Another thing people might be struggling with is where to find clay. If you actually just keep digging on your farm, it'll pop up randomly. Or if you wait until it rains, the little worms, sometimes you'll see those on your farm. If you hit those with the hoe, there's either clay or some other goodie buried there.
Exactly, yeah. The worms will actually pop up anywhere. They're not even really at your farm. They'll pop up all over, town and the countryside and everything. And if you hoe those, you might get 1 to 3 clay just right away from there. But otherwise, yeah, I got the majority of mine from the worms or for hoeing the beach when it rained. That's when I got mine. So that's good stuff. So yeah, definitely get the silo first, guys. Otherwise, when winter comes around and all your grass dies, you're not going to be able to feed your animals, and that's just no fun. Speaking of the animals, you pick those up from Marnie, who's in a house a little below your farm, south of your farm.
Yep.
And you also buy things like heaters from her, which you're going to want to put in your barn areas to keep the animals warm and happy. A milk bucket if you happen to get some cows, shears if you end up needing those to get some wool. So all those ranching items you're going to pick up from her. Definitely try to work towards raising her heart levels, because you can actually end up selling the animals back to her for more than you bought them for if you get her friendship high enough, which I thought is a pretty cool little thing as well. So, and when you're down there, also note there's a river beneath her. Towards the bottom area. There's water all over the map, actually. And you definitely do not want to ignore the fishing game. And guys, this fishing game is getting a lot of controversy on the boards for being...
Too hard?
Yes, for being difficult. And I'll be the first to admit it takes a little getting used to. The idea is simply to keep this little green bar, it says beneath the fish. What it means is, superimposed underneath the fish itself, not like the fish on top and above it. It means together in the bar, and then you're going to get your stuff there. So try to do this a lot. I promise it does get easier as you level up fishing, and certainly as you level up and get more equipment. You get better rods. You get bait. You get eventually tackle that you can put onto your rods that help make things easier. Personally, the trap bobber is my absolute favorite. It's the thing that makes the fish escape slower when you don't have the meter on them.
Yeah, I like that one a lot too. It makes it a lot better.
It's so critical with some of the harder to catch fish, like God forbid a catfish. Those things are just ridiculous.
Oh, I hate those things.
Yeah, absolutely nut bar to get those. But definitely don't ignore it. You can get a lot of great money from doing this.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, really, really nice. So if you got some energy left over at the end of the day and you're not sure what to do with it, hit up a fishing area for a little bit. It's well worth it. And then you'll definitely be doing a lot of fishing actually once it transitions over to winter, because again, unless you have that greenhouse, you ain't gonna be doing much farming.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot to be done, but there's still a couple things you can do, right? I mean,
yeah, you can still forage, and you need to forage for some of the community bundles. Again, complete those. You might as well. You're not growing anything.
Exactly.
Your artisan craft stations are still going to function. Like your animals, they're still producing eggs. Your cows are still producing milk. Just remember to feed them every day.
Yep, and give them a pet too. They like you to give them a little right click to show them the love. That actually does matter. They want to be touched. Let's not look into why. but they do. And they do like to be outside, but they won't go out in the winter, so don't worry about that. So just keep those heaters running inside, and they'll be okay. But give them a pet each day, give them some food each day, and then when it is nice outside, go ahead and crank the door open and let them out during the day. They actually do enjoy that, and that does have a bearing on their happiness and then the quality of the goods they produce. But yeah, as far as the winter though, I mean, yeah, more tips for that. If you haven't reached the bottom of the mine yet, now's the time. Also, upgrade some of your tools. If you haven't upgraded your watering can yet, great time to do that because you don't really need it right now. So take care of that. And just bear in mind, once you do hit the next cycle, once you wrap back around to spring 1, I don't know if this happened to you, man, but I had cleared a decent bit of the farm, but when it came back, a bunch of grass just sort of grew up all over the place, and it
yeah, mine did too.
Yeah, so
it kind of took over, invaded a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, so you're gonna have to do a little bit of clearing, even if everything was clear before that season began. It seems like some stuff comes back, but that's not awful. You want some grass coming back because you're gonna need to replenish your hay supply anyway, right?
Yeah. Not only that, but I don't know how many animals you had, but I have 4 ducks, 4 chickens, and 2 cows. They'll actually, if you let them roam outside, they'll actually go and eat the grass by themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And they love doing that too. And it's not like some of the other games like this, guys, where you're going to have to corral them back in at night. They will make their way back all the way on their own. They don't eat your crops. They're responsible little animals. They'll go eat grass, and then they'll go home. And you don't have to worry about them. So really the fences and stuff that you might build, it's strictly for cosmetic effect, really.
Yep.
I did it anyway, just because...
I did too.
But if they start breaking down on you and you don't really feel like repairing them, you're not really doing anything horrible to your animals. They're going to be just fine. So with that, we don't want to talk too long on this, guys. So I just wanted to give a basic overview here and give some of our tips that we came across as we played through the first time. We are massively looking forward to the multiplayer update for this game, which Concerned Ape, the sole developer of this game, I might add. Awesome. Props to him. 4 years of work. Kudos.
Well done, sir.
So
well done.
But he has promised a multiplayer version of this, and when that happens, I have a feeling that a series may appear on this channel.
I think we have to. It's too fun not to do.
Yeah, it's such a great game, guys. So if you haven't picked this up, it's $15 on Steam at the time of this video, and I can't imagine you spending that money more wisely somewhere else unless you just need food or something. So give it a look-see, and guys, let us know what you think of this. If you want any more tip videos like this as we learn more about the game, then let us know. We'd be happy to do more. We're going to be playing it anyway. I'll tell you that. So I'm glad. Hopefully you guys learned something from this, and thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time here on TFGoose Gaming. Take it easy.